right, so the next thing are inequalities. Now, you guys should be good at this already, but we gotta make sure. When you go to calculus, you have to be able to solve inequalities very quickly. Basically, you gotta make a number line, that's what you gotta do. Okay, let's start off with an easy one. So whenever you solve an inequality, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make one side 0, and you're gonna factor the other side. That's why we learned polynomials before we did this. So here, something like this. So assuming we can factor it, or use synthetic, so you know you're going to be using synthetic division in this next chapter. Let's put an even power on one of these. How about like something like that? And then what do we do with less than or equal to 0? Okay, so you make one side 0, you factor the other side. Then you make a number line. You guys did number lines last year, right? Okay, what do I put on the number lines? Whatever makes the top, or the, well, if you have a fraction, but we don't have a fraction here. Whatever makes each factor 0, basically. So, -2, 1, and 3. Now, are these all three going to be part of the solution? No, or equal to 0 now. Like if I plug in -2, is it going to be true? Is 0 less than or equal to 0? Yes, so all three of these will be part of the solution. Put that in first. I'm going to tell you right now, every year students forget to do this and then it just adds up. Okay, now, you guys, how did you guys test the number line? Plug in numbers last year? Okay, like, you can start at any region you want. I like to always start at this region. You know why? Because if you think of a number bigger than 3, like 4, when you plug it in, 4 plus 2 is positive. 4 minus 1 is positive. 4 minus 3 is positive. They're always positive. As long as the leading coefficient is positive, you know over here it's going to be positive. But it's up to you. You can start whatever region you want. Okay, did you guys learn a shortcut or did you guys just test every region last year? I don't remember.
The sign switches, right? If it's an odd power.
Okay, so you did learn the shortcut, right? The shortcut is, well, the long way is plug in a number here, like 2. Plug in a number here, 0. Plug in a number here like -3 and see what you get. But there's a shortcut. 3 came from this factor. It has an odd power. Therefore, it's going to change sign. Why is that? Because if you think of the graph, odd power means the graph goes through the x-axis, right? So it's going to change sign. 1 came from this factor. It has an even power, so therefore it's going to stay the same sign. Because an even power means the graph bounces off the x-axis, right? Which means it's going to stay the same sign. And then over here, -2 came from this power. This factor, which has an odd power, so therefore it's going to change sign because the graph goes through the x-axis. So the pattern is odd power, change sign, even power, stay the same sign. But you got to figure out one of them before you start now. I always like to do this one. And then what am I going to shade in? I'm going to shade in the minus or the plus? Well, less than 0 means minus, right? So it would have been better if I made it plus. You know what? I'm going to change the problem. Let's make it greater than or equal to 0. That way, you can shade in this one. So that's the graph of your solution, but you got to write it down. Now, I don't care how you write it, just make sure you do it correctly. So you can say, x is less than or equal to -2, or x equals 1, or x is greater than or equal to 3. You need to know the difference between or and now. That's super important in this chapter. You guys know the difference, right? Or means union, and means intersection. You guys know the difference between intersection and union, or we have to go back to elementary school? It looks like we have to go back to elementary school. Okay, let's say set A is 1, 2, 3. Set B is equal to 2, 3, 4. What is the difference between A union B and A intersect B? This is algebra 1. What does union mean?
All of them?
Yeah, If you throw these numbers in a box, and then you throw these numbers in a box, what's in the box? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Basically everything that's there, right? Intersection means what elements are common to both sets. Come on, look. What elements are common to both? 2 and 3. That's the difference between union and intersection. Or means union, so and means intersection. Come on, this is algebra 1. That's why you have to use the proper word or there. If you were to put the word and here, you know what that means? Where does this and that, what elements are in common to both? Nothing. So if you put the word and there, you're saying there's no solution. The proper word is or. Or would you rather write it like I think your Algebra 2 book wrote it this way last year? Negative infinity to negative 2, including that, and then 1 to 1, and then 3 to infinity and beyond. This is called interval notation. Is that the way you guys wrote it last year? I don't care which way you write it, just make sure. And of course, if you use this notation, you have to use the union sign because these are sets, that's all. See, when you use the word or and between statements, you know, like in logic, you use these symbols between sets. I mean, they mean the same thing, but you have to use it in the proper setting there. Okay. Anyway, if you mess up, like if every year people put commas and things like that, it's only going to be -1 on every problem, though. Right? The meat of the problem is, can you solve the inequality? Okay, let's do one with a fraction. How about this equals 2 x minus 1 x minus 3 x plus 4? And let's go less than or equal to 0, and let's put, how about, put an even power there, and I'll put an even power there. And what the heck, let's just put in, change it from 1 to 3. It doesn't matter how big the power is. All that matters is it's either odd or even. Okay, so how do you solve an inequality? What do you have to do? You make one side 0, and you put everything on the other side. And everything got to be factored. That's the thing. Now, I'm giving it to you like this. So sometimes the problem, if you look at tonight's homework, some of them are all factored for you. So like look at G, all nice and factored, right? But then some of them are not factored, so what do you gotta do? You gotta factor it, you gotta use synthetic division, you gotta use your algebra skills, that's what you gotta do. But once you get into this far, it's easy. All you gotta do is make a number line. What goes on this number line? Things that make either the top or the bottom 0. So, and please put them in order. Last year I had a couple of people, they putting it in any order they want. What's going on? Okay, so basically any factor you see, you put down the 0 of the factor on the number line. Doesn't matter if it's top or bottom, because it changes the sign. Okay, -4, is that part of the solution or not part of the solution? No, it's not, because it's in the denominator, right? You plug in -4, 0 in the denominator is undefined. What about -2? Yeah, that one is part of the solution, because if you plug in -2 here, 0 over something is 0. What about 1? Is 1 part of the solution? Yes, because it's in the numerator. And then what about 3? No, because it makes the denominator 0. Okay, now there's 5 regions. Which region do you want to start at? It's up to you, but I always start here, because think of a number bigger than 3, like 4. Positive, 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 positive. Everything's positive. That's why I like that one. But it's up to you. Some people like to do the one with 0. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, now it's easy. Look, 3 came from here. It has an even power, so what do? Stay the same. 1 came from there, even power, stay the same. -2 came from there, odd power, change. -4 came from here, odd power, change. It's easy. Even power stay the same, odd power switches. and we want less than or equal to 0. Oh, look, there's only one region that has minus. So how do you write this? Either you do -4 is less than x is less than -2. Why am I putting parentheses? Or x equal 1, the proper word is or there. Or if you want to use interval notation, you would go -4 to -2. And then you guys know how to write a single point, right? It's like this. That's how you write a single point. It's the interval from -1 to -1, including -1. So that's the single. Just like what I did here. And you guys know the difference between bracket and parentheses, right? And you know infinity is not a number, so that's why you always use parentheses, right? Okay, so that's how you do it. So the problem for most of you is going to be, how do I get it into this form? Like I said, synthetic division and algebra. Okay, so let's do one more. Let's do one like I. I guarantee that, you see I guarantee that's on the next quiz. It's just going to change the numbers, like here. Just change the 6 to a 5. Change the 2 to a, how about a -1? And then less than or equal to, how about 2x? See? It's the same problem. Okay, how should I start this problem? Can I multiply both sides by x minus 1 to get rid of the fraction? Yeah, you can, except that would be a fatal error. You would get -6, no questions asked. How come you can't do that, Mr. Park? How come I can't multiply by both sides by x minus 1? Because this is an inequality. Sometimes x minus 1 is positive, sometimes x minus 1 is negative, right? Doesn't that make a difference when you have an inequality? So you cannot do that. That's automatic fatal error. So what should you do? I just told you what to do. Make one side 0. See, if you make one side 0, you're on your way. Okay, now what do I do with the left? Now can I multiply both sides by x minus 1? Yeah, you can, except you just delayed your fatal error one step. No, because sometimes x minus 1 is positive and sometimes it's negative. So what do? You make the least common denominator. That's what you do. That's how you subtract fractions. Here, I'm going to put it over 1. So you're going to get x plus 5 minus 2x times x minus 1. Okay, continue on. Just do the algebra. Plus 2x all over x minus 1 is less than or equal to 0. Put it in descending order. -2x squared plus 3x plus 5. Oh, who picked these numbers? These are, oh, I don't know, maybe it will be factorable. If it is, then I gotta remember it. Now, I don't like when the leading coefficient is negative here, so you don't have to do this, but I always do this. Watch what I do. You see what I did? I multiplied both sides by -1, because I just don't like the leading coefficient negative. But then you gotta change the less than to greater than. It's up to you, but to me it's easier to factor when it's not like that, when the leading coefficient is 1. Okay, so I think the top factor is now 5 and 1 minus plus. Oh, I've got to remember that for period 3 and 4. I don't know if I can remember that. Because sometimes it comes out, it's not factorable, so you got to use quadratic formula to put the numbers on the number line. You're going to get a few tonight. Okay, but look how nice it is. See, it took us all that work just to get to that stage right there. Okay, now is the easy part. What goes on the number line? -1, 1, and 5 halves. Is -1 part of the solution? No. What about 1? I mean, yes, it is. 1 is not, and 5 halves is, right? And then, see, the leading coefficient positive. You know this one's going to be plus. Right, because think of a number bigger than 5 halves, like 3. Plug it in, 6 minus 5 positive. 3 plus 1 positive, 3 minus 1 positive. It's always positive if the leading coefficient is positive. And then look, all odd powers on the factor, so you know you're going to alternate. You don't even have to think. And what do I shade in, the pluses or the minuses? Greater than, greater than. Greater than means, greater than 0 means positive, people. Okay, so just write that down. Okay, you guys like this one, it seems. Oh, I almost forgot bracket on that one. That's okay. 39 is a darn good score. And there you go. That's how you solve inequality. So, first thing you do, make one side 0. Second thing, factor, and then make the number line. Yeah.
For the one the previous one, wouldn't -2 be included?
Oh, yeah, you are correct. I get a -1. 39, that's okay, still A plus probably, yeah. Is it A plus? Yeah, if you round it off. 39 out of 40 is 97.5, it rounds to 98. Good. Okay, there you go. So this is really the easiest thing of this chapter now. Next one is going to be absolute value. What do you know about absolute value? Just make it positive. Okay, that means you really don't know that much. Didn't you guys learn piecewise function last year? Does that sound familiar, piecewise function? Absolute value is a piecewise function. That's okay, I'm just gonna have to teach you like you don't know anything. But I'm gonna tell you, that one, it's pretty involved. So when you, like tomorrow's lesson, come to class focused, because have your brain fresh, because it's even tougher than the binomial theorem. What? Say what, girlfriend?